surface of the paper, painting on the leaf motif that I've pre-sketched earlier. So nothing complicated, just some basic wash of the paint onto the dry surface of the paper. Demonstrate the wet on wet technique. So kickstarting with a pre-wash of clean water onto the leaf motif, and once done pre-wetting, I'm going to apply the same yellow ochre with the same thickness consistency that I used for the wet on dry technique. I'm just going to give it some light washes. Actually, you can just drop in the paint in a very minimal way. As you can witness here, the moment the tip of the brush touches the pre-wet area, the paint pigment bleeds instantly, which shows that the water in the pre-wet surface is already acting as a medium to make the pigments bleed besides the wet paint itself. Next, I'm just dropping in some Saphir mixed with burnt sienna. Basically, it's a brown shade mix. I'm using my micro brush since this is already a pre-wet surface and I want some marks on the autumn foliage, so I've decided to use a micro brush instead of a large Bristol brush. And you can see those bleeding happening from the droplets of paint. I'm going to use my micro brush and paint in some spots and marks on the corners of the leaves using the dark brown shade. It's a mixture of burnt sienna and a little bit of sapphire. Very sharp details that result in hard edges, as opposed to the one that I showed in the wet on wet technique, whereby the brown spots appeared much softer because they started bleeding onto the wet painting. So if you like the look of these sharp appearances of details, then you can leave it as it is, but my suggestion would be to give them some light washes using a clean damp brush. So you just need to squeeze out excess water from your clean brush, make sure it's damp, and just apply some light washes onto the hard pigmented area so that they appear much lighter and blended with the first layer of painting. So if you like to have more control on these fine details on your paintings, then you can use the wet on dry technique, where you allow the first layer of painting to dry and then apply the second layer of painting with the details.